Welcome to our second service. It's awesome to be here. It's awesome to have you all here. Some of you were here last time, and you remembered that I left my sermon at home the morning of, and I had to run home to get the sermon. So I decided to prevent that from happening this time, just not to write a sermon. I can't forget it if I haven't written it. So I just brought some reading material. This was the cover of Newsweek, April 6. Forget the church, follow Jesus. The cover of Newsweek. And Jesus looks like he is a Norwegian fisherman instead of an Aramaic carpenter. And this guy's idea, he's the author who wrote the article, really thinks very highly of St. Francis of Assisi, and thinks, I do too, but he thinks we should all live like him, which means sackcloth, no possessions at all. And where's, that's doesn't work. Now the thing that he did like, he really liked Thomas Jefferson's version of the Bible. Do you know Thomas Jefferson created his own version of the Bible? Yeah, Thomas Jefferson cut out everything he didn't like. Literally copied and pasted, but he literally cut out the Bible. No kidding. And there's a version of it that you can go see at the Smithsonian of Thomas Jefferson's version of the Bible. I have one. I haven't gotten all the way through it, but he just compiled the things that he liked. So that's Newsweek. I never picked these things up, but it said Mayan prophecies for 2012, and I think that this was 2012. So it was worth looking into, and it's just such a wealth. Some of the headlines: Mystery of the Exploding Pig Farms. 11th Commandment found on Mount Sinai. And there's Charlton Heston as Moses, of course. So there's the 11th, yeah, what's the 11th commandment? You want to know, what's the 11th commandment? This is the difficult bit, said Catchpole. Catchpole is the archaeologist who found it. It appears to read, "Thou shalt not sneeze," which seems absurd. However, the left edge is broken and damaged, so we think it might say, "Thou shalt not sneeze in the temple," which makes more sense. Yes, thou shalt not sneeze in the temple. So today's message is called the D in seed. So our seed is simply experiencing everyone's divinity. And so the topic today that I chose to speak on, and I'm going to speak on our mission statement for the next few Sundays that we gather, just so that we really explore the mission statement to its fullest. And I don't think that 4 Sundays is enough time to do it, but that's what we're going to start with. The author talks about this notion that we have thorns that have developed, thorns that have been implanted into our heart. And they happen from points of pain. And then we remember this point of pain. And it can be our brother's not talking to us, but we don't know why. And we don't know that the backstory is, oh, he's in lockup. It's all about me and my survival. My survival says he doesn't love me, so protect yourself, right? Doesn't love me enough to protect myself. So it had nothing to do with the reality that Elizabeth was talking about. Her brother was locked up and couldn't be with her, but her story became, he doesn't love me, so what I'll do is I'll protect myself. But I'll protect myself is from the thorn that's already there. So I'm going to protect myself from the pain that's already there. And the author talks about either removing the source of the pain, or bandaging it and covering it up. Those are really the 2 choices, but we don't spend a lot of time practicing the removal. We spend more time covering up. We spend more time protecting. That becomes our basic mode of operating, is how am I going to protect myself? How am I going to cover this up? How will I stay safe? So what happens is we get more practiced at this bandaging. And our world turns to this. So the world becomes about protecting ourselves from the pain that we don't want to experience. So this notion of your heart with a thorn in it, the goal here, the goal to spiritual awakening, the goal to spiritual mastery, the goal to being at peace, is to remove those thorns from your heart, so your heart can be clear, you can be free of those pains, those thorns, those things that cause you to constrict. The only way out is to remove the thorn completely. We go into fear because the fear has helped, the thorn has helped define who we are. We've now gotten to know our bandage really well. But that doesn't make the thorn actually go away. And this acronym, forget everything and run, is it reinforces the thing that we're afraid of. It reinforces the thing that we are, that causes us pain, that thorn. That thorn just becomes more real and has more power in our lives. We start by just noticing that they're there. We first start by noticing that they're there and allowing them to be there and know that they served a purpose at one point. They served a purpose in our survival. They served a purpose to help us. They served a purpose to protect us. So they served a purpose. So you should thank them for having served the purpose and now know that you don't need them anymore. And one by one, you'll start to notice that those thorns, those aspects of yourself that you've been protecting, they will release. They will let go. They will disappear. They will dissipate. Tap into the divine. I've heard something to that effect. At any time, I can tap into the divine. At any time, I can tap into Source. At any time, I can feel that experience of God. But you notice that there's just a drip there. Right? And there's a valve. There's a drip and a valve. And you can open the valve, and then it can pour, water can pour out. So the flow could be full force on. But I actually want to consider that that's not our goal. That is not our goal here. As people that are interested in spiritual principles, our goal is not to meter the flow. Our goal here is more like to break the valve off the pipe. Break the valve off the pipe. Break the valve off the pipe and let the experience and flow of God overwhelm you and fill up all of the cracks and crevices. There is no restriction. Remove all the restrictions on the flow of God. Remove all of the restrictions on the flow of God. The restrictions come from where? The restrictions come from your bandages. Your bandages come from where? Those hurts that were unresolved. How you remove all the restrictions on the flow of God? Two ways. You remove the thorn, or you say, I'm ready to let the flow happen. Whatever needs to get purified in the process, you go ahead and take care of it. You go ahead and remove it with the water pressure, wash it away. And again, I'm not speaking to God up there. I'm speaking to this internal divine understanding, this knowing, this presence of God that's within us. You say, I'm ready to let go of this particular pain. I'm ready to release the valve that I have on the flow. I'm taking off the constriction. I'm opening it. I'm not doing this to life anymore. I'm letting go. I'm letting my fingers go and letting the flow happen full force, full on. Don't put a meter on God's goodness in your life. Don't put a meter on God's goodness in your life. Let it go. It's a protected meter. It's a meter from the bandage from the thorn from the pain, which is on top of fear. If you look at any of your hurts, ultimately you'll find that there's some aspect of fear that's keeping it in place. Let it go. Break the valve. Break the valve. Break the valve. Let go and let it fill you